you might have had a catheter in, you might not have had a catheter in, but basically, well, you'll probably know it enters your bladder for you. Like some people, if they have an operation and they can't get up and about, they'll have a catheter inserted just because if they can't get up and about to the toilet, or they're not like strong enough to like, do you know when they bring those things that you wee into? I mean, I can't think of anything worse than having to do that. I've not done that since I was a child, but it's probably easier for men. But they put a catheter in if obviously if they think you need one, if like you're going to have an operation and there's no way you're going to be out and about to go to the toilet. So the one and only time I've had a catheter, I mean, I can't remember having anyone any other time, was when I went to the hospital because I couldn't go to the toilet to do anything, and I've not had a wee for a long time, and it was, oh god, I was in agony. I mean, imagine your bowel being overfull and it's constantly pushing because it wants to go but nothing's happening, and then your bladder's overfull and you're in so much agony you feel like you're just going to burst. That's what it's like, especially when they're both full. And it's different for a man and a woman because when a man needs a wee, it doesn't push against his bowel. But when a woman does, when it's over full, it does push against your bowel. And when your bowel's full and they're pushing together, imagine what that feels like. So I once had this catheter put in, and I basically was given no choice. They're like, you need a catheter, we need to empty your bladder because it might be a while before you go to empty your bowel. And that's another horror story. Oh god. Anyway, I don't know why I'm laughing because it's not even funny what you have to go through. So I was in A&E and this nurse put the catheter in, and which is not painful. Like, you feel it, but it's not painful. I mean, I can imagine if they did it wrong, it would be bloody painful. And then she's like, right, we need to empty your bladder. I need to get a sample so we can check to make sure there's no infection. So she's talking away to me, and I can feel the liquid coming out, or the wee, whatever you want to call it, obviously through the tube, and I can feel it. She's talking to me, and I suddenly start to feel really sick, like I'm going to be sick. Now, I remember the sickness feeling coming on, and she's talking to me, and I'm talking to her. It's not like a constant, non-stop conversation. It wasn't one of those, but there was conversation going on between us, and I started to feel a little bit sick, and I'm thinking, why do I feel sick all of a sudden? Like, nothing's happened. I think I was like half led, half sat. Why do I feel sick? Like, I couldn't understand it, because why would I suddenly feel sick? And then the feeling got stronger and stronger, and I'm thinking, because I don't normally throw up, like, it's very rare for me to physically throw up, and sometimes I wish I can, because sometimes when you're extremely nauseous for hours and hours and hours, eventually you're like, well, I wish I could just be sick just to get rid of the feeling, and it never happens. I mean, the last time it happened was when I was throwing up last year, when I ended up in an ambulance just before Christmas, because the junior doctor at my doctor's surgery told me I was at the end of a virus, and she wouldn't listen to me when I told her that I get the same symptoms when my main illness flares up, and she kept going, I'm the doctor, I know what I'm talking about. And I kept asking her to get the doctor who was overseeing what she was doing. She went, I don't need to, I know you're at the end of a virus. And no matter what I said to her, no matter how I explained it was my main illness, and I've had this so many times, she was having none of it. And that's when she said, and don't come back for a week, or don't ring for a week, I know you're at the end of a virus, you'll be just wasting our time. So I waited, and it was day 6 when I started throwing up, and I've never actually thrown up physically with this main illness. I've just been extremely nauseous. So I knew it was serious last time because I've never thrown up the way I was throwing up. I mean, watch Vlogmas from last year. It was like something like the 18th of December or something like that. If you want to see it and see me like in hospital when I got home and I looked like crap. I think I talked about it in detail, all my symptoms. Anyway, So I'm feeling more and more sick, and it's getting more and more intense. And I kept thinking, well, I'm not going to be physically sick, because no matter how intense the sickness gets, it never comes out. And I always wish it would, because as I said, I want the sickness to go away, because who wouldn't? So eventually it got extremely strong, and I said to the nurse, I feel really sick. She's like, oh, you shouldn't do. She didn't look up at me at that point. I went, it's getting really strong. And she looked up at me. She's like, oh, your colour's drained from your face. I'm going to go and get a sick ball. And off she went. And I think she was gone a couple of seconds. And then it got so intense, I knew at that point I was going to faint. And the thing is, feeling sick and the fainting sickness feeling I get are so similar that sometimes it doesn't register with me that I'm going to faint. Sometimes it's like, oh, am I getting this nausea from nowhere? And it always depends on what's happening around me. If there's something happening, like if someone started talking about an operation in detail and I started to feel sick, I would know it's because I'm going to faint. But if like no one's talking about anything like that and I suddenly feel sick, the predominant time I'll know it's just I'm feeling sick for whatever reason it is. But sometimes, like that day, I didn't realise I was going to faint until a couple of seconds before. And I remember getting this feeling, and I remember saying something out loud, because I could hear people talking. And I remember saying something out loud about fainting, and the next thing I know, there's a room full of people. The doctor who was originally in with me, well, not the original doctor, but the doctor that had decided I needed a catheter and the other stuff, she was stood above me, talking to me. I had an oxygen mask on, which was strange, because if you faint, like, and then you suddenly come round and then you've got this oxygen blowing in your face and loads of people in the room, it's a little bit confusing, especially when you first come around. Because when you first come around, if you've never fainted, because then this surprises me, some people have never fainted and they don't know what it feels like, and I'm like, oh, you're lucky that you've never fainted. I don't faint as much as I used to, because I recognise the feeling a lot of the time, and then I'll like take steps to stop myself from feeling sick. And sometimes if I think, oh, I'm definitely going to faint, I'll get myself in a position where if I faint, I won't hurt myself. So like now I'm sat on the sofa, if I suddenly thought I'm going to faint, I would quickly lie down, because if I fainted, I'm not necessarily going to fall backwards, I might fall forwards. So I will try and get myself in like a kind of lying down position if possible. Or like the last time I thought I was going to faint was I was at the hairdressers, and I would have told the story around that time, and I was a split second away from fainting, and I panicked because there was loads of people in the hairdressers, and I kept thinking I'm going to look like an idiot if I faint in the middle of the hairdressers. I was sat down with hair down my head, nothing had happened, I just felt really ill all of a sudden. And I kept thinking, should I get up and go and stand outside the front? And then I thought, well, what if you go outside and you faint? So eventually I said to my hairdresser, because the girl who was in the beauty room had finished for the day and she'd left about 10 minutes earlier, I was like, I feel like I'm going to faint. Is it okay if I go and lie down in the beauty room? And she said, yeah. But when I got to the beauty room, I realised I couldn't lie down because I had a head full of hair dye and it would have ended up on the bed. So I kind of, at first when I went in, I kind of leant on my elbow, half led down. And I stayed in there until she was ready to take the dye off my hair. And when I came out the room, I think she came and got me. She's like, are we just rinsing it off and then you're going home? And I went, no, I feel a lot better now. And she got someone to get me a really sweet drink, and I honestly didn't know where it came from that day. Anyway, when I fainted in hospital, it was horrible. I mean, obviously it's a good place to faint if you're in hospital, because, at least I was led down, but I just didn't realise until maybe 2-3 seconds before, and then it was too late. And it was the catheter, it was the sensation of it being emptied out, and she said that she'd like turned it up so it would come out really fast. I didn't realise there was like a thing that could do that, but apparently there is. Ever since then, because there's been a few times they've tried to put a catheter in me, and I'm like, no. And I always explain why, and they're like, well, if you faint, you're in the right place, which I obviously am, but if you have the choice of fainting and not fainting, you know, you're probably going to choose the not fainting thing, because it's not a nice feeling, and people who have never fainted don't understand how horrific it is. It's not nice. It's not like, oh God, I just knocked something over. I'm actually meant to be doing stuff, not chatting, and I came on here to tell you something for 2 minutes, and then I'm going on about bloody fainting, and this is not what I came on for. No wonder I'm going to spend bloody 5 years editing videos, and I'm not even back. Like, I am not back. Anyway, like, fainting is horrible. Like, I've blacked out. Blacking out is totally different. Like, sometimes everything goes black and I don't even fall over. Like, it's just a split second. Or sometimes you can black out and be out for a while, but you don't feel the way you feel when you faint. Like, the feeling before you faint and the feeling you feel afterwards, it's totally different. Blacking out is nothing compared to fainting, and I don't know what it is. Like, I've talked to my doctor about me fainting, and she's never actually seen me faint, so she doesn't realise how bad it is. I mean, obviously, I don't want to be in the doctors and say something to me where I do actually faint. There was once I started to feel like I was gonna, like, not a strong sensation, but I started to get the early feelings of fainting. And then I started taking deep breaths, and she just looked at me, because I don't think I said I feel like I'm going to faint. And she just looked at me like I was completely crazy, and I was just like, oh God, I'm feeling a bit faint. And she just looked at me, and I'm like, whew, I can't talk about this anymore. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I've never fainted in front of her. I've almost fainted at the doctor's when I was in with the nurse. And that's a whole nother story. I think I told it at the time that I almost fainted and what I was having done. But yeah, fainting is not fun. Like, I've blacked out a lot, and sometimes everything goes black and then you're back with it like a second or two later. But fainting, the feeling before and afterwards, and sometimes when I faint, I could feel ill for hours afterwards. It just depends on what's wrong with me and what caused me to faint, and if I'm unwell or not, because sometimes you can just faint even if you're not well. You just see or hear something that makes you faint. So there's been times when I fainted. Like, there was a time last year when I ended up ringing the doctors, because I was ringing the doctors anyway because I wasn't well. But before I rang the doctors, because if you're in triage, sometimes, I mean, they're not doing this at the moment, but sometimes they're like, can you be here in 10 minutes? And I live like 15-minute drive away. So if I'm going to ring triage, on the off chance that they say come in, I like to have had my shower, brushed my hair if it needs brushing. I won't put makeup on because if I'm really ill, I'm not going to do my makeup. And I won't necessarily be dressed, but if they're going to get me in, you know, it's going to take me a minute to put something casual on. So there was this one day, and I was like, oh God, if I'm going to go to doctors, I want to wash my hair, because my hair was really greasy. But if you're ill, you shouldn't really worry about that. But when you've got anxiety and stuff, there's certain things that if you, like, your hair's greasy, you won't leave the house. And I know that's really silly, but I need to, like, do certain things to enable me to leave the house. Although I have, in the last year, been to the doctors with greasy hair, because I'm thinking, well, if I'm ill, it doesn't matter. But there was this one time, and I think I did this because there was the time, remember when my doctor admitted me to hospital, and I ended up in hospital with greasy hair because it was like, it badly needed washing. I think this time when I was really ill, and I was like, right, if I'm going to ring doctors, I want to wash and dry my hair first. And I'd got in the shower and I was washing my hair, and I started to feel sick, and I got sicker and sicker, and I'm like, why do I feel sick? I don't understand this. And I was like rinsing my hair off, and got out of the shower really quickly and went and laid on my bed, and I fainted while I sat on my bed. And I fainted, and luckily the bed was behind me because I fell backwards, and I fainted. And then I came round, and then I fainted again, but I don't think I was out as long because I didn't feel as rough when I came round the second time. And I rang the doctors, and I ended up at the doctor's, and I think she'd given me like half an hour to get there. It wasn't my doctor, it was the other female doctor. I had literally 15 minutes to dry my hair and get dressed. And I think I managed it because, well, actually, when I dry my hair, like, say I was washing my hair today, which I'm not, I'm washing it tomorrow. I mean, you don't really need to know that. If I, like, see, I don't do this anymore, but say I had to go out in an hour, and in that hour I had to wash my hair, dry it, do some makeup, get dressed, I would struggle to get out in the hour. And in the past I've had to do everything in an hour, but it's been a struggle because my hair, even though it's not thick, it's quite fine, it retains a lot of water. And I don't know why, it used to baffle my hairdresser. She's like, your hair holds onto a lot of water. And I'm like, it always has done, but I don't know why, because it's not thick. And she didn't know why, but it does hold on to a lot of water. So ideally, if I've got to wash my hair, and this is why I've been getting out late on a Friday, because I used to wash my hair on a Monday and a Friday, and then it changed to a Tuesday and a Thursday, or Tuesday and a Friday, because I want there to be a gap between it. But really, it would be better if I could wash it on the Thursday, because what's happening at the moment is I'm washing my hair on a Friday. Well, I'm having my bath on the Friday and I'm not getting in the bath till about 2. Then I'm in it about 45 minutes. Then I'm going and washing my hair, and say I'm getting out the shower at like 3, whatever. Then I'm doing my makeup, which is taking me about half an hour, and I don't know why, because I can do it much quicker. Then I've got to dry my hair, and even like by that point I would have been out the shower like half an hour, 40 minutes. My hair is still soaking wet, even with a towel on my hair and everything. But in an ideal world, what I like to do, if like, say I was washing my hair today and I'm not going out tomorrow, I like to, well, I'm washing it tomorrow, I won't be going out tomorrow. So what I like to do is, I like to like have my shower and everything, because I have my bath and then I wash my hair in the shower, because you should never wash your hair in the bath. Because if your hair's dangling in the water, it's just going to end up with the bath water in your hair. And it's just easier to get in the shower and wash your hair. So if I like have my bath and then I get in the shower, I'll get out and I'll put my hair in a towel, then I'll like do my face creams and everything, then I'll do my body stuff, and then I'll put on either what I'm going to wear for the rest of the day, or if I'm going out, like if it's a Friday, I'll just put on like a t-shirt. Sometimes it'll be what I'm going to wear that day, but a lot of the time it's just a clean t-shirt and maybe a pair of pyjama bottoms, or like sweatpants or whatever to wear around the house, and then I'll start getting ready. And then for the first 20 to 30 minutes, I like to have my towel on my head, minimum, if I'm like getting ready to go out. But if I'm not going out like a normal day, I like to have the towel on my head for 45 minutes to an hour, and then that'll soak up a lot of the extra moisture. Whereas if I put it on for 5 minutes to take it off, my hair's soaking wet and it takes longer. Then I like to take the towel off my head for half an hour to an hour. Then I like to dry it. I like to wait till it's about 60-70% dry. Then it dries a lot quicker, it dries a lot better, and it just makes my life easier. But if I've got an hour, which I've not been able to do this in a long time, because I didn't go out the house for 5 months, 5.5 months, whatever it was. And before that, I wasn't going out that often, maybe once or twice a week. And the day that I was going out, I wouldn't necessarily wash my hair, because I used to wash my hair every other day because my hair used to get really greasy. But since earlier this year, my hair's actually gone quite dry. I mean, I couldn't go a week without washing it. Some people go a week. I mean, I wish I could go a week. I don't think I've ever been able to go a week. I think the longest I went was when I was 17. I went 5 days, and that was a long time for me. I used to wash it every 3 to 4 days. And there was one day I pushed it for a 5th day, and I just had my hair in a plait. But yeah, until like early this year, it used to drive me crazy, because I'd wash my hair and then later the same day it would feel a little bit greasy, and then I'd think, well, I'm not washing it tomorrow because I'm not washing it every day, because it'll just ruin my hair, it'll damage it, it'll strip all the oils out. So the next day I'd put dry shampoo in, but by the end of the second day it would look like I'd not washed my hair for a week. It was horrible. But as I said earlier this year, it got drier. Like my ends are always really dry, but I do put oils in. And there's some days where, like, if I washed it yesterday and I've put all my oils in and stuff, the next day it might be a little bit dry, so I'll put a little bit more oil in as well. And it never looks greasy. And also my skin's gone really dry, like my face skin has gone drier. That's driving me crazy because, like, I'm having to wear a lot more oils on my face. And even that, like, the oil on my skin's also got, like, my body skin's also gone a little bit drier as well. Some places it's normal, some places, oh, there's a few places where it's extremely dry. And this has happened all of a sudden. I don't know if it's because I'm not going out the house. I mean, would being in the house all the time affect that? I don't know. I think that's a conversation I need to have, like, with a doctor or someone. Yeah, I mean, on Fridays, like, I'm getting in the bath about 2, and I always plan to get in about 1. And for some reason, like, this, I think there was one week it was like 2:30. And if I have a bath, I'm going to be in at least half an hour to 45 minutes, at least, because I don't see having the point in having a bath otherwise. If I'm putting something expensive, like if I'm just putting some of my cheaper bubble bath in, I don't mind being in 20-30 minutes. But if I'm putting a product in that's cost me £3, £4, £5, then I want to be in for 45 minutes to an hour. It's the only time I get to properly relax. I try not to take my phone in, but I have been taking it in recently. But I try and have a bath once a week without my phone. Or if I do take it in, try not to be on it the whole time. Normally I just watch YouTube videos. Guys, I'm so tired. I've had a coffee, that's probably why I won't shut up. And half a twirl. Well, actually, it was a full twirl because it was a single pack. Do you know twirls come in 2 packs? They've got 2 bars in. It was a single one. And then I had 1 stick of a Kinder Bueno, which comes in a 2-pack. And I've not had anything else to eat. And it's like 3:20 in the afternoon. I weren't meant to be filming all this. I wrote myself a to-do list. I thought I'll just put a few items on. My to-do list is about 4 pages long. I'm not going to do it all today. I'm going to put a timer on my phone. I'm going to get a drink. I should get something to eat. The little demon from next door is about to come home. Great. Oh no, it's half term, isn't it? Is it half term? I'm sure it's half term. Because they've got 2 weeks off, haven't they? I don't know. Oh, I hope it is. I hope it isn't half term. I hope it's never half term for next door. Anyway, I'm sure I've heard children like this afternoon. I don't know. Anyway, I feel really ill. Like, me shivering and everything last night when I'm warm. My body must be fighting some kind of infection. But where? Like, Wednesday last week, I was so ill. Thursday I didn't feel great, but I felt better as the day went on. Friday I didn't feel great, but I felt better than I did on Wednesday. Saturday I was tired because I was up all night Friday. Then I was up all night Saturday. And then last night I was up. But I had Diet Coke at like 2, 3 in the morning. Like, I need to stop doing that. I'm tired. There's a list of things I really need to be doing. Like, I've wrote a list. I really should have something to eat. I've got all my vitamins to take yet. And I think one of the reasons why I'm not fully getting sick is because I'm continuously taking my vitamins. Like, I've got my Wellwoman vitamin, I take vitamin D3, I take vitamin B12, I take vitamin B6, I take evening primrose, I take her vitamins. And I think that's why I'm not fully getting unwell. But Wednesday, oh my God, I was just so ill. And I said in videos, like, I'm not going to moan, because I have felt worse, so I'm not going to moan. But this has been going on for like a month or longer. In fact, and I've not talked about this, but around the middle of August, like 2nd, 3rd week, I suddenly, all of a sudden, felt exhausted every single day. Like, so unbelievably exhausted. Like, I'd get up and walk across the room and I'd need to sit down again. And that carried on until maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I don't feel as tired as I did. And I think that's why I'm getting more stuff done. You know, like, I'm setting an alarm for an hour, getting stuff done for an hour, and then I weren't able to do that like a month ago. So it went on for nearly 2 months, and it was horrible. And I kept thinking, nothing's changed. Yes, I'm eating badly, but I've ate badly before and it's not affected me like this, so it can't be that. And even when, like, at the beginning when it first happened, I started to eat quite healthily again and cut down on all the crap for like a couple of weeks, and I didn't get more energy. I was trying all sorts of things to get more energy. I was going to bed earlier, I was getting a bit more sleep, but I was just weak all the time. And I probably should have rung the doctors, but I'm sure the doctors have got better things to deal with. And you know, I don't want to end up having to go to the doctors because I don't want to leave the house. And I know I'm having to leave Friday to go shopping, but if I even tried to explain how hard that is, and I think this is why it takes me as long as it takes me to get ready, because I'm putting off going out. I don't want to go out. I struggle when I'm out. I was really panicking, anxious last week when I left the shop, and like I think I filmed. Well, I filmed after both shots, but I was so anxious. I thought my heart was going to come out my chest. I thought I was going to stop breathing. My chest was really tight, and it was horrible. And I think my dog has farted. Yep. Oh my god. Right. Silent but deadly. If I'm sounding funny, I've got my nose in my t-shirt to, like, hopefully drown out the smell. That's vile. She needs a BATH. I don't feel up to it today. I feel really crappy. It needs doing this week. I went to do it the other week, but I can't remember why I didn't do it. I think it was one of the days I weren't feeling well. Like, I'm trying to not plan anything. Like, I don't want to go, right, I'm definitely going to do it tomorrow. Because when I first come downstairs today, walked in the kitchen, sneezed about 5 times, came in here, sneezed about 5 or 6 times. And when I start sneezing, it normally means I'm going to get a cold or flu. And last week I was sneezing lots. Like, the Tuesday, I got in the bath, and I'm in the bath. And normally I love being in the bath. And I was in the bath about 20 minutes. I'm like, I can't even deal with this. And I got out. I had my shower, and I didn't feel right all night. And then when I woke up on the Wednesday, I was like, oh God, I feel like crap. I think it was the Tuesday night where, like, I ended up in bed and fell asleep at 9 o'clock. And I should have realised then I was coming down with something. So I don't want to say I'll definitely do it tomorrow because I've been sneezing. I feel exhausted. My nose is all blocked. I'm tired. I'm headachy. I feel achy all over. I might be coming down with something. Like, I don't want to come down with something. I don't think people choose to come down with something. I don't think they go, do you know what? I've not been ill for a while. I'll get something. But like I said, middle of August, and it was around the time, like, the week from hell. It was the week after the week from hell. And then I thought, well, maybe I'm exhausted because of all that. But, you know, it carried on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I don't feel as exhausted now that I did. But I don't feel great. I don't feel like as energetic as I did before. Before I got super exhausted, I had, like, loads of energy for weeks. So I don't know what's going on with me. Maybe I do need to see the doctor. I mean, I don't want to go to the doctors. Like, I don't want to leave the house. I don't want anyone to see me. And this is one of the reasons why I'm not on camera, because I don't feel comfortable being on camera. I'm washing clothes, by the way, in case you keep hearing the washer. I don't know if you can hear it or not. It's gone quiet now I've said that. But, yeah, I should have washed it yesterday, but the stuff I had on yesterday I wanted to wash. So I thought, well, where it's yesterday. Do you know what? I put on a new top yesterday. Well, it's not new because I bought it August, July maybe, and it's like, I don't know if I showed it, it was from M&S, and it was a linen mixed t-shirt, and it's short sleeve, and it's got, like, do you know how they fold the bottom of the sleeves up? It's got that, and it's a bluey colour with, I think it's got a grey undertone, and it was only $12.50. That was full price. And at the time when I bought it, do you know, like it says, if you ever go on the Marks and Spencer's website, it'll tell you